During World War II, Hungary fought on the side of the Axis powers. But why? Why did Hungary join the Axis powers? That is what you are going to find out today. Good to have you back on the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and also hit that notification bell. A sore point in Hungarian history, or perhaps the sore point in Hungarian history, was the infamous Treaty of Trianon. It was drafted during the Paris Peace Conference that also drafted the Treaty of Versailles for Germany. Trianon was signed in 1920, and the territory of Hungary, that before was together with Austria in a dual monarchy, was reduced from 325,000 to 93,000 square kilometers, with a population drop from 20 to 7.6 million. Hungary, a medium-sized state before, was now reduced to a small state, surrounded by much larger neighbors, such as the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes, later Yugoslavia, as well as Romania, that gained a large chunk, Transylvania, with some 1.6 million Hungarians living in it. There's much more to this treaty, so if you want to learn more about it, look it up yourself. What you need to know is that the revision of these new borders was the chief aim of Hungarian foreign policy in the interwar period. Liberal social democrats and factions of the so-called populist movement, for example, generally presented more moderate demands than conservative government circles or the extreme right. Yet, governmental policy itself was not always and in every detail identical either, but rather changed from time to time as a function of the continually evolving international conditions and the prevailing domestic situation. Now, initially, in the interwar period, Hungarian politicians were very much aware of Hungary's isolation. So therefore, the government of István Bethlen strived for a policy of reconciliation and accommodation. In 1922, Hungary was admitted to the League of Nations, followed by an international loan from 1923. As the foreign control in Hungary became more relaxed, a treaty of friendship was signed with Italy in 1927. Now, in the following year, in a speech by government leader István Bethlen, he gave a speech in which he stated that Hungary hadn't lost territory. No, Hungary was, according to him and many Hungarians, partitioned. And this was unacceptable. To build a permanent peace on these borders is impossible. What can only be built on these borders is a prison in which we are the guarded and the victors the guard. What we need is new borders. Now, from the early 1920s, France was facilitating an alliance system in Eastern and Southeastern Europe with the so-called Little Entente, which consisted of Yugoslavia, Romania and Czechoslovakia. Hungary on turn strengthened its ties with Germany. Actually, this was in 1930, before Hitler rose to power. After Hitler had gained power in Germany, the ties between Hungary and Germany remained. But Germany and Hungary weren't on equal footing. See, where Germany not only wanted to regain the territories it lost after the First World War, it also wanted to expand. Hungary, on the other side, only wanted its former territories back. Now, Hitler wasn't too keen on supporting Hungary. Why? Well, if Hitler would support Hungary's revisionism, it would strengthen the cohesion of the Little Entente. And this wasn't favorable for Hitler because Hitler had an eye on Sudetenland, which was part of Czechoslovakia. In a meeting between Regent Miklós Horthy and Hitler, Hitler stressed that Hungary's demands of 100% revision simply were not realistic. Yet, things changed in the second half of the 1930s. In 1938, the Anschluss occurred. Austria became part of the German Reich. Next on Hitler's list was Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia. Now, Hitler, he asked Hungary to provide armed assistance if this was needed. Hungary found this way too risky and didn't want to commit through this. Even Hitler promised a part of Slovakia, known as Upper Hungary, to be returned to Hungary. Hitler did manage to acquire Sudetenland after the Munich Conference. After this, Hungarian-Czechoslovak negotiations took place to reach an agreement on the issue concerning the Hungarian minority within Czechoslovak borders. An agreement wasn't made and border clashes occurred. Britain and France had no interest in it, and thus a German-Italian arbitration took place. In the first Vienna Award, an area of almost 12,000 square kilometers went to Hungary. The Hungarians now knew that the road to revision lay in cooperation with Germany. When Hitler took the rest of Czech in 1939, Ruthenia was given to Hungary. Slovakia became a puppet state. There was a short war, the Slovak-Hungarian War, near the end of March. When later that year Hitler invaded Poland, the Germans hoped Hungary would join them. They didn't, and opened their borders for more than 100,000 Polish refugees. Prime Minister Paweł Teleki's foreign policy following the outbreak of the war was guided by two basic principles: abstention from the armed conflict of the great powers, armed neutrality, and fulfillment of the revisionist policy. The opportunity to regain a part of Transylvania was created in the summer of 1940 when the USSR took Bessarabia and northern Bukovina from Romania. Military action seemed possible and Hitler called for a Hungarian-Romanian negotiation. With German-Italian arbitration, it resulted in the Second Vienna Award, where Hungary recovered 43,000 square kilometers. For Romania, this was a catastrophe. Hungary signed the German-Italian-Japanese Tripartite Pact on the 20th of November 1940. So far, Hungary had gotten territory back without undertaking military action, or barely, but this would change once Hungary joined the Tripartite Pact. If you want to know more, then please check out the playlist of Hungarian history. You can find it right here. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to subscribe and also give a like under this video, and leave a comment what you thought of this, and I hope you see you soon enough. What is goodbye in Hungarian? See you later.